little silly, if I may, to say that you are under Secretary of State of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, and you have been a member of the Italian government since June 2018. And you have a long and sound experience as a member of Parliament as well. And we know your interest in the space issues, and we look forward to hearing from you this afternoon on this security for space subject. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, first of all. It's a real pleasure for me to be here today with you, with this very highly qualified parterre of experts. Well, I'm particularly pleased to be here today at this conference dedicated to the linkage between space and security. I would like to thank the European Space Agency and the European Space Policy Institute for organizing this high-level event. And I would also like to thank the speakers who have already addressed the session. They provided a very interesting point of view for the discussion and analysis. I'm delighted that this meeting takes place here in Frascati at ESA's European Space Research Institute, a center of excellence for Earth observation activities that I had already the pleasure to visit in the past. ESRIN is the primary source at the European level for satellite data acquisition, distribution and use. I take this opportunity to address a sincere congratulations to Simonetta Kelly, the new director of this center. I'm confident that with her knowledge and experience, this center and all the programs centered on Earth observation will have a significant boost. The Italian government, third largest contributor to ESA budget, is honored for her nomination and ready to offer its full support to the ESRIN. Italy is one of the few nations to have a complete supply chain of products and services in the space sector. From the production of satellites, habitants modules, launch, navigation and communication system, to the related ground infrastructures from downstream applications and the solutions for data collecting, processing and use. Italy has more than 200 private companies, mostly startups and SMEs, with a total annual revenue of 2 billion euros and 7,000 highly qualified people employed throughout the production chain. Together with our industrial players, universities and research centers represent the foundations of the Italian technological excellence. The space is an extraordinary laboratory that allows cutting-edge research to be carried out, and we have nationwide an integrated network of academic and research centers specialized in this sector. They are a real hotbed for brains working on solutions for the future. Italian institutions, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, work to facilitate synergies and interconnection between private sectors, universities, and public sector. We aim at supporting this rich national ecosystem, enabling a full integration between all the stakeholders. Space is a priority area for investment and a driving force for our national economy. Indeed, space entails a strong economic multiplier. For each euro invested, the economic return is 5 euros. And for each worker hired, another 4 are recruited in related sectors. Through the Italian Space Agency, Italy allocates an annual budget of more than 1 billion euro to space activities. In addition to that, the Italian National Space Economic Strategic Plan provides a total investment of 4.7 billion. The plan leverages innovative formats of public-private partnerships and multi-funding approaches aimed at maximizing its different policy tools. Moreover, I'm very glad to announce that in these weeks, the Italian government is working at the allocation of fresh resources for a space sector with the Italian Recovery and Resilience Plan. In the framework of the Next Generation EU, we have new plans for strengthening satellite communications and geo-observation in many domains. We are aware that investments in space technology generate practical, cost-effective solutions in many interrelated fields with a positive impact on economic, social, and environmental levels. This is the meaning of the so-called space economy, the widespread use of space for many of our daily activities. Space has never been more central to our everyday lives. We use space technology to travel, communicate, for weather predictions and navigation, and for dealing with different types of emergencies related to our territory. Space economy is a great opportunity for all. Worldwide, it generated nearly 500 billion and grew 4.4% in 2020. Future forecasts estimate that it will reach a value of $1 trillion within the next 10 years. However, the value of space goes beyond the merely economic dimension. It represents the possibility of achieving a new and better quality of life, both in terms of prosperity and security. There is no doubt that security is one of the sectors that have benefited most from space technology, which are allowing us to achieve unprecedented outcomes. For example, through Earth observation and monitoring, we have improved our capacity to control territory and borders, both on sea and land, as well as monitoring migratory flows and fight international contraband and organized crime. But this is just one part of the matter. If we then look at our cities, thanks to space technologies, we are able to increase urban security and safety, innovating our urban transport systems. Speaking of climate change, space technologies increase our security by monitoring natural phenomena. Today, it is possible to predict natural disasters and try to mitigate their impacts through very accurate calculation models based on observed data. And in case of emergency, with our satellites, we can foresee and monitor extreme climatic events, thus limiting the impacts on the population, especially concerning costs in terms of human life. In this regard, security goes hand in hand with sustainability at the space scale. Space debris and orbital congestions are problems that we can no longer ignore. It is urgent to find a joint solution at international level for space management, so that all parties will abide to a responsible and sustainable conduct. In recent years, we have seen states increasingly relying on space to safeguard their economic progress and strategic interests. As space grows in importance for our economies and societies, tensions and competition could arise between different actors. We need security policies in space in order to avoid the negative consequences of this global race to space. Therefore, Italy welcomed the ESA Director General Joseph Axbacher has included safety and security among the strategic objectives of the ESA Agenda 2025, presented last March. This document clearly shows the need to focus on security. In this regard, the synergy between national projects and ESA programs is fundamental. Together with cyber, space is the new domain that we have to manage. The protection of space assets must be a priority for the European Union. Without them, we will be blind and helpless. With the adoption in 2021 of the EU Space Program Regulation number 696, with the largest budget ever for space, amounting to 14.8 billion euros until 2027, and the NATO overarching space policy approved in 2019, both the European Union and NATO member states confirmed the importance of space for their security and prosperity. But besides this, I believe that to achieve these goals, we need to encourage new forms of collaboration between public and private actors. It is self-evident that in space, the boundary between these two phases of our societies, institutions and companies, public and private, is less sharp than elsewhere. A permeation process is underway through which private assets participate to national and international programs. And at the same time, a state-driven large-size demand tries to attract them. This is why public and private sectors must work in synergy in order to ensure that the benefits arising from space technology will be available by as many people as possible. We must avoid a scenario in which space becomes a private domain inaccessible to the whole of human society. We must advocate for space technology democratization. Inclusiveness and sustainability will make the difference in our future economic model. Our compass is well represented by the theme we have chosen for the G20, people, planet and prosperity. I'm sure that space will be a key element in strengthening these three pillars together. Italy is strongly committed to achieve this purpose. To conclude, let me say that after all, we are gathered here today because we are fascinated by the vast opportunities of a human future in space, and because we want to harness its potential for all of us. The spirit that should inspire us is embodied by the first article of the United Nations Treaty on Principles Governing the Activities of States in the Exploration and Use of Outer Space, including the Moon and other celestial bodies. The exploration and use of outer space, including the Moon and other celestial bodies, shall be carried out for the benefit and in the interest of all countries, and shall be the province of all mankind. Quotas. I really believe that province of all humankind is the right definition of space and proves our willingness to look after it and to venture in it, now and in the future. The more we will learn about space, the more we will understand how precious our Earth is by this little pale blue dot in the vastness of space. So, I just have to wish all of you, all of us, a good work in this domain, and I'm grateful to the organizers for giving me the opportunity to address this highly qualified audience. Thank you for your attention, and I really look forward for the best collaboration possible.